Hi everyone and welcome back. In this video I will show you how air superiority in land battles really works. And the reason I say really works is because I thought I knew how the mechanic worked. Then I asked around among my friends and everyone kept on saying different things. So I slowly started to realize I had no idea how this really worked. So I did the only reasonable thing. I abandoned the Sunday plans with my wife and locked myself into this room to do HOI testing for a full day. And well, first maybe I should say I'm not proud of it, but I'm really happy with the results because what I learned wasn't really what I expected, and it's absurdly powerful, this mechanic. So let me share my findings with you, and I hope you will like it. Alright, before throwing myself into the testing and show you my findings, I just want to go through some quick definitions, what I will talk about and will not talk about, to make that clear from the start. So, when you have a land battle supported by air, you have the ground attack coming from your tactical bombers or your CAS going into fight on CAS missions. I will not touch this at all, so ground attack is nothing I will touch upon in this video. The other thing I will not talk about is air support, how your attack stats are modified positively by CAS or tactical bombers. I did a video on that a few weeks ago, so you can check that out if you want to learn that, but I will not talk about the air support buff or ground support. What I will talk about is the negative buff you can find under the enemy here that comes from enemy air superiority. You see it here, minus 6.4. This is the negative debuff that the enemy gets when you have airplanes in the fight, basically, or in the zone where you're fighting. And this is what I will touch upon this video. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how the air superiority debuff really works. So right now we have a land battle happening here against the Poles. And in this zone I have 100 fighters on air superiority mission active. I have 100% air superiority. But in the fight, you see, I only give them a debuff on 7.4% even though I have 100% air superiority. And the reason why I don't have the full debuff on this fight is because what really counts is what's called air power projection. And that's a fixed amount unless it's challenged, basically. So if I work this up to above 350, I will have the full debuff on 35%. So let's take all 800 fighters in this fight and let's see what happens. You can see it's now up to, yeah, it's far above 582. Then I click on the land battle. Oh, and as you can see here now, I have the 35% debuff on the enemy soldiers in this fight. This doesn't mean that you can only get air superiority debuff with fighters. You can also do it with tactical bombers or with strat bombers and CAS. But if you use airplanes on CAS missions, they only give the air power projection if there's an active battle happening right now. So if I would fly with the CAS and there's no active battle, it wouldn't give me anything on the air power projection. All right, the other thing that I would like to show you is basically if I swap over to the poles, is that, let's see, the air power projection also give a debuff on the movement speed, and this is also depending on how much air power projection you have and if it's challenged or not. So the maximum is minus 30% thanks to air superiority. And it's scaling up to the 350 air power you have in its zone, or the cap, basically. All right. Before going into the next thing I want to show you, I just want to do a quick shout out to our amazing Patreons. You guys are the ones coming with most of the good ideas for our content, and you're the ones supporting us in doing these guides. So thank you so much, really. And I just also want to say that we release a new guide on our YouTube channel every Monday. The next one will be done by Boppus on the flow of the game. I think that will be a bit more multiplayer oriented. Let's see. And we also do a Patreon exclusive guide every second Thursday. The last one on a few days ago was done by Boppus on the new consumer goods system that came with Arms Against Tyranny. So if you haven't learned it already, he will teach you exactly what you need to know with all his sexy graphs, as always, coming from Excel. All right, let's continue. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you is that the 35% debuff cap on air superiority is actually a soft cap, and you can push it quite far above those 35% with different things such as doctrines. So let's see how far we can take it. So right now we have 35% on this battle, and let's start with the obvious, the doctrines. In the middle and the left one you can find 30% air superiority, and in the right one you have a little bit less. So let's take the middle one. No, let's take the left one. So that doesn't do anything. Let's see, we have 15% down there, and we have another 15% down there. So let's go down to those two and see what happens. So it's not the efficiency ones or the other ones we're looking for, it's only the ones that says plain air superiority percent plus. And the last one. So now we have additional 30%. Let's unpause. And there we go. 45 plus 45.5 in the battle, which is starting to get quite crazy. Then, no, I don't think we have anything here. Yeah, 10% on guarding in this case. Let's add that as well and see what happens. 49%. So we removed almost half of the breakthrough or debuff of the enemy troops thanks to those modifiers. And there might be other ones depending on which country you're playing. For example, if I would have gone for the right tree here, I can just show you. That would have been, for example, this one, mass strike, that gives another 5% or so. But that doctrine is weaker on the other side. But there are different flavors to this that you can look for depending on what country you play. So the third thing I'm going to show you is quite a crazy one, to be honest, and that's actually that the air superiority modifiers, it's determined by the owner of the battle, not the air controller. What does that mean? Well, if we take a battle here where I take my German soldiers and attack the Poles here, and then I swap over to Italy and I attack the Poles on that one, swapping back to Germany. I'm pausing. We now have two parallel battles, one by Italy and one by Germany, and as you can see, this one, the German one, the Pole here has the 49 minus that we just looked on, thanks to all my modifiers. But in the other fight, and it's still my airplanes above the fight, the Italians command this battle, and they only have the 35% debuff. So Italy needs their own modifiers and doctrines to be able to push this up. So if I would jump over to Italy and just quickly, take some stats, they have 10% and another 20%. And then unpause. Now you see that the Italians have 45.5 instead, and the German battle, there we go, 49%. So if I would now join the Italian battle with German troops, they would still control that fight, as you see here, and the modifiers would still be based on the Italian ones. So This means basically that all players within the same faction as Axis or allies need to have their own modifiers towards air superiority if you want to have the full effect on this, or it will be capped by the 35 from the air controller. So, as a quick summary, basically air superiority debuff is extremely powerful. You can push it up to a bit above 50% if you have the right modifiers, or even more, to be honest. There are effective ways to counter this, and I will make a guide on this quite soon, maybe in the coming few weeks or so. And I gave you a little bit of spoiler in one way to do it in one of the land battles when I hovered the wrong division there, and that you might noticed. But that's for another guide, as it's quite complex how you can do that as well. A quick last remark is that we have our grand game Illuminate the Arrival on this Sunday at 10 o'clock on the 18th of February. Our studio with PD, Victor, and our latest recruit Olof will take your hand and host a full day of Hygge HOI fun, starting already 10 in the morning. So check it out on YouTube or on our Twitch channel. And yeah, until next time, thank you.